Hey guys, welcome to my garage. This is my first video that I will be uploading to my channel. Just me doing kind of random stuff around the house in my yard. Just kind of pass on any kind of knowledge that I can. If you're wondering what is at my feet right now, it is a lawn aerator that I purchased from online. It is actually the AMICK double disc lawn aerator. It is a core aerator that I am going to be using on my yard and taking a video on. This is going to be the assembly. And if you're asking what is a core aerator, basically these little tines here will punch little holes in your yard and pull up little plugs that kind of look like geese poop. Basically puts little holes in your yard to allow airflow and water and any kind of nutrients. Very beneficial for overseeding. Depending on what kind of yard you have, there's different times of the year that you want to aerate. If you have a cool season grass like fescue or Kentucky bluegrass, those are normally done during the growing season, which is the fall. If you have a warm season grass like St. Augustine or Bermuda, you want to do it at some point in mid to late spring. So this is everything that came in the box. You got some tines, you got the discs, you got some couplers, have handwritten instructions, which I'm hoping I'm going to follow correctly. And then I just have my tools here. I have a wrench, and then I already checked out what size sockets that I'll need. So I'll be using a 19mm and an 11mm socket to get this going here. So I have everything laid out on the cardboard boxes that I shredded apart to make sure I don't get any scratches or any kind of rust or anything else on my garage floor. So I'm going to get started putting this together, and then like I said, I'm going to give this a quick test run on my yard. So we're going to start with the first step that's written down, which is sliding the tines in. And there's these small nuts on the back side here that he says to tighten. So I'm going to try to slide these in, see if they go in first, and if they do, then I know that I need to tighten them a little bit more. Now, there's a smooth side here that's larger, and then there's a side that you can tell looks a little grooved. That's going to be, I'm assuming, puncturing the hole into your yard. So this one here slides right in perfectly. So I know that one's going to need to get tightened. So I'm just going to keep going with the steps here. So that one is in. Actually, as I'm going, I'm going to start tightening these up so they don't slide out. And I'm going to need my other wrench so that I can get this on. Tighten these up. Now I have to tighten them up. I'm just going to make sure that they're secure by giving them a nice tug. Make sure they're not going to slide out. And then we'll just keep going on with the process. This one needs to be loosened up a little bit. Good. I'm going to go back and double check my work, make sure none of these tines are loose, that they're nice and secure, which they are. So the second step is to attach one of these couplers here to the inner axle on the stub. So we're just going to put that in. And it says screw the bolt into the coupler. So I'm assuming this is what's going to feed through the center of the other axle here. So we got that on, lay the other disc on top centered. So this is the painted side, it has the name of the company. So I'm assuming that's going to be on the outer part. I'm going to lay this on top, centered. The next step of the process is laying the 3x5 plate that's included. And then tightening with the nut, which I might get on, and I'm actually going to be using my other wrench with the 19mm to get that on nice and tight. Which it is. It's has some weight to it. So this actually gets shipped in two separate portions. The discs and the tines and all the little couplers and bolts came separate, and then the handlebar here came separate as well. So after all this is said and done, I got two couplers left, and then I have two screws going through here. So what I'm assuming is the last step that he has written down is attaching the handlebar. So I'm assuming the last two couplers are going to be going onto the end here, and then having the handlebar attached with those bolts. So Let's get these put on. So we've got one in, and now let's see how this is going to go. So again, I'm going to get my wrench and start getting it going to get this all in nice and tight. I'm going to get this all the way in till the nut that is on the inner part of the handlebar, until that is nice and flush against the coupler. I want to make sure this is all nice and tight so nothing wiggles. I mean, this thing has a good amount of weight, and I'm assuming that if I'm going to be moving this around the yard until I try to get used to it, it's probably going to be a little hard to kind of balance and so on and so forth until I get the feel for it. So let's get the other side on here. Let's stretch this out. Get the other handlebar on. Same process. I'm going to tighten this up. So it's on there nice and tight. I'm going to give it a go. And here's my double disc aerator. Has a good amount of weight. Feels like it's, I think if I remember correctly, it's something about 30 odd pounds. So I'm actually going to take this outside and see how it works on my lawn. It's going to be a true test. I'm here in just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and anyone from North Carolina knows we got that clay soil, so it can get pretty hard and compact at times, especially with the North Carolina heat kind of beating down on the yard right now. So part 2 coming up in just a moment.